Morning, everybody. Victor King and Jim Feist here. I'm in Las Vegas. Victor is in Florida. We're climate down there with the humidity, which I'm not a big fan of humidity. I just came back from 9 days in Cleveland, your old hometown, Victor. It wasn't a pleasure trip and it wasn't a vacation, but I did get to spend 9 days in Cleveland, which is quite interesting. How are you?
I'm okay, Jim. What I want to know is, I know you had a nasty bout of the COVID up in Ohio, and are you over it? And uh, did it kick your ass or what?
It kicked my ass. I have no more COVID, but I do have a congestion that's bothering my ears. So today at 2 o'clock, I'm going to get that checked and see if I can get a antibiotic to kill that because it kind of blocks up your ears a little bit. But what really blocked up my ears is Jerry Jones and his ego. Jerry Jones's ego has never lost. His ego always takes precedence over anything that's logical. How do you trade a generational player? I mean, their defense was skeptical or suspect anyway. And now you get rid of this. Now I understand they picked up Clark and they picked up some draft choices, but
Right.
at Jerry's age, you would think he wants to win now because there may not be a next year. We all
Right.
know that when you get to a certain point. How about we win now? So, what are you thinking?
It's surprising. You would have thought they could have got a lot more than just a couple of firsts, and Clark, the defensive tackle for the Packers. Not to mention that these are going to be like late first round picks, right? The Packers are now an elite team in the NFC. They're one of those three elite teams now: Philadelphia, Detroit, and Green Bay. They're an elite team. So these first round draft picks that Dallas got, they're going to be number 28, number 29, maybe number 30. You
Yeah.
think they could have done a little bit better? I definitely think so as well. What's interesting is for how this impacts the world of totals and over unders in the NFL.
That's exactly where I was going with this. Yeah.
They're outstanding. Dallas, to me, is a team that's very, very similar to the Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC
Exactly.
conference.
Exactly. Exactly.
That team that's going to score a lot, and their defense is so bad that they're going to allow a lot of points. A 27-27 team is what I call them. And they're going to score a lot. They're going to allow a lot. Cincinnati, that's the case with the Bengals. It looks like Dallas is going to be the NFC equivalent of that type of team. So we're going to definitely look to pick and choose our spots in playing Dallas and Cincinnati overs this season in the right situations, the right circumstances, with the right point spreads, and with the right over-under lines. I'll say this, in the opening week of the NFL, Dallas, Washington were somewhere around 46 and a half. Cleveland, Cincinnati were somewhere around the same area, 46, 40. You know what, Jim? Those could be some of the lowest over-under lines that we'll see all season in regards to Dallas and Cincinnati this week one line when they each play division opponents.
Actually, Dallas opens up against the Eagles.
I'm sorry, Dallas and the Eagles. That's right, the
Right.
Thursday nighter.
Right.
Still, the line somewhere around 46 and a half.
But
We're going to get to a case in the season where Dallas over-unders will definitely be in the 50s.
I haven't looked at the actual current numbers on that, but I did look at the futures. Green Bay has become more of a favorite, and Dallas, of course, has dropped way down in their projected win totals and projected finishing position. And Jerry Jones can spin this all he wants. He took over this team, bought this team many years ago, and he hasn't done anything with it for 27 years. And it continues. It's a fiasco, but he's a rich man, and this is his toy, and he can do what he wants with it. You can't do, it's And he's, I don't know. I don't think they're ever going to do anything. But I want to get to something that, because I think the important part of this thing that we're going to be doing one or two of these a week, depending on your timing, because there's a lot to say, and I don't know we can all say it one thing. So we have to kind of plan, like you said, we could talk forever, maybe do a 2 or 3 hour deal, but nobody's going to want to stay on 2 or 3 hours.
Right.
You did an article, and you've been with Mark Lawrence for years, and the playbook, and you did an article, NFL individual player props, make your bets, Victor King Creole Sports. It's in the newsletter. I'm not sure what edition. What edition is that? Because I want to tell people to get it.
This is the special edition that we put out way back in like late June.
Oh, okay.
We wanted to do a futures type publication, Jim, that we have never done before.
Right.
Before our preseason newsletter even came out, we put this out. It kind of covers the entire month of July. Mark talks a lot about his NFL win totals, and he did some fantastic research in that particular area. But I did about a 2 or 3 page article on NFL player props, season-long NFL player props. I think I'm in a good position in this particular category because, Jim, I just finished I'm in 11 Dynasty Fantasy Football Leagues, and I just finished 11 fantasy football drafts throughout the summer. I got a good feel for the individual players. I think you can tell by reading the article. But in some cases, there are some very interesting long shots that we're going to look at when we cover a couple of these areas. The first being, if I could get into it, the NFL.
No, I want you to take off with this thing, because what you got in here is amazing. And I really don't need to add anything to it because I've read this a couple times. It's really well done. And I suggest everybody out there, if you can, get yourself a copy. Victor, before we get started, because I'm going to let you just take off with this, how do they get a copy of this?
Send me an email, and I'll be glad to email you a complimentary copy of that particular issue of Playbook. It's our Playbook 1A. Again, it came out in July, but all the information is still applicable because the NFL season hasn't even started yet.
Right.
So send me an email, vic@playbooksports.com.
vic@playbooksports.com. Okay.
Mention that you heard it here on Totals and Props with Jim Feist and yours truly, and I'll be glad to email you a complimentary edition of that newsletter, which does include that article, Jim.
It doesn't get better than that. So I'd get on your computer right now and send that email to Victor, and he will send you this. It's an incredible article. And Victor, I just want to give you the floor. You did the work. Take off with this and start talking about it.
Well, the first one's passing props, and we're looking at some long shot odds here, so potential. We're looking who's going to be the NFL passing yards leader in 2025. Last year, the passing yards leader was Joe Burrow at 49.18 total yards, and he is once again the favorite to win this category of the Cincinnati Bengals. He opened up as the favorite at plus 550. Right now, I'm checking out some of the DraftKings and the FanDuels, and obviously there's money that's come into him right now. We're somewhere around like plus 450 now, somewhere in the range of plus 450 to plus 500. Still decent odds, still a little bit of meat on the bone, and he is the guy that I've put the most money on in this particular category. He is the chalk. Again, he opened at 550. He's down to about 500 right now. 4,918 total passing yards. And if you're going to be playing this category, this is the one category in which the chalk is worth the money. So I ended up playing a good 2 units on Joe Burrow for the second year in a row, lead the NFL in passing yardage. The one guy I want to mention also has an impact based on what just happened yesterday in the NFL. We just talked about the Dallas Cowboys.
Sure.
And the fact that the next highest guy is Dak Prescott at plus 850. He is the number 2 guy in terms of odds to lead the NFL in passing this season. And while I'm not going to be playing all these guys to lead the league in passing, the one Dak Prescott prop that I like is one of these props in which we're going to go higher than what his number is. His number currently right now for the season is around 4,000 passing yards, Dak Prescott. And I think he's going to go way over that. In fact, if you can find an alternate line passing prop on Dak Prescott, I would play him over 4,500 yards. You can find that at DraftKings at plus 350 odds. You can find that at FanDuel at plus 370 odds. That's Dak Prescott to throw for over 4,500 yards. Guess what? He just lost his best player on defense. You want to talk about a team that's going to be playing from behind all season long? That's going to be the Dallas Cowboys. So if you're looking for a good Dak Prescott prop, play the alternate line. Dak over 4,500 passing yards, and you can get that at close to 4-1 odds, almost as good odds as Joe Burrow to lead the entire league in passing. The third guy I want to throw in, who I think has got decent long shot value, and he's at 22-1 odds right now, is the guy who won 2 years ago. Tua Tagovailoa, our guy down here in Miami, Florida, 2 years ago, threw for 24 yards. He was the number 1 passing quarterback in the NFL in 2023. He was a 20-1 long shot. And again, he threw for 24. If he is healthy, he is always in the mix. So I do think he's worth, Jim, a little bit of a sprinkle at generous odds of about 22-1. So to lead the NFL in passing yards for 2025, yes, we're going strong with Joe Burrow, but we're including a little bit of Dak Prescott alternate line over 4,500 yards, and then a little bit on Tua at the current odds of 22-1 to lead the league in passing. I think we're covered there with those 3 guys.
What is the price of the number on Burrow's yards and the number of yards that they're projecting for him?
Burrow is currently at for the year. I'm showing he is at 4,300, 4,350 is what I'm showing for his total on the year.
That seems very low.
Yeah, it seems low considering he had 600 more yards than that last year, almost hit 5,000 passing yards. So, yeah, it seems low.
And like you said before we started recording, both Dallas and Cincinnati look to have very bad defenses, and they're going to have to be playing from behind all the time. And both these quarterbacks they do have wide receivers that are pretty good. And as long as their offensive line can give them a little time, they should be moving up and down the field all the time.
All the time, particularly in Dallas's case, they're going to be playing from behind against that very, very difficult NFC East division, Jim. So that's how we're looking in passing. And then if we can move into the next category, which is the 2025 rushing yards category. We played the chalk when it came to passing with Mr. Joe Burrow, but we're laying off the chalk this year. The 2 chalkiest guys on the board are obviously the 2 guys who finished 1-2 last year. That's Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. In fact, the last time I looked, Barkley was still actually a significant favorite of about a 2-1 favorite to lead the NFL in rushing yards this season, with Derrick Henry coming in next at about 4-1 odds. I don't like the numbers. I don't like the odds in regards to this. Could either one very well lead the league in rushing? Absolutely. That is for sure. But this is a category in which it's a good idea to play a couple of long shots. And in that case, Jim, I'm recommending a couple of guys who are at 10-1 or higher to lead the league in rushing. Those 2 guys being Jonathan Taylor and Bijan Robinson, one from each conference, of course. Taylor from the Colts is currently 10-1 odds to lead the league in rushing, and Bijan Robinson of the Atlanta Falcons is somewhere in the 11-1, 12-1. Of course, you got the fact that Jonathan Taylor, he had an injury-riddled 2022 season, an injury-riddled 2023 season, came back strong. He rushed for 1,400 plus yards. Last year, he was the fourth most in the NFL. And, he's projected, according to Pro Football Focus, to have only 60 total rushing yards less than Barkley. Yet he's 10-1, 11-1, 12-1 odds. Well, Barkley is a 250 to minus 300 favorite. Who would you rather have?
There's a 60-yard difference?
According to Pro Football Focus, he's only projected to have 60 yards less than Barkley. And the odds are just so much in our favor that this is that category where you want to consider a couple of the long shots. Again, we're not denying the fact that both Henry and Barkley had fantastic seasons, but there is such a thing called regression in the NFL. And I do think both guys go significantly lower than what they did last year. Those two guys, the two chalky guys. So let's sprinkle some money on the two 10-1 to 12-1 long shots. Again, that being the kid on the Colts, Jonathan Taylor, and the kid on the Falcons, Bijan Robinson, as far as the running back position goes.
How do you feel about the rookie sensation out of college, Ashton Genty, this coming year? I mean, not that he's not playing for a very solid football team right now, but he does have a solid coach. But they're in a very difficult division, of course.
We'll get to him in a minute when we talk about offensive rookie of the year odds. But I will say this Raider team has been, to me, the most fascinating team to follow throughout the entire preseason. I'm sure that you got all the skinny out there being in Vegas. But let's see here. We got a brand new GM, Spytech. We got a brand new head coach in Mr. Pete Carroll. You got a first-round draft pick in Ashton Genty. You got a brand new quarterback in Geno Smith. And one thing I want to mention in regards to Geno Smith, I got that article up here somewhere. Let me see here. There it is. The Geno Smith stuff. There was a reason that the Raiders traded for Geno Smith. You see a 34, 35, 36-year-old quarterback. You're thinking, why are we trading for this guy? It falls in line with the fact that the Raiders are going to be another one of those teams this season that I think is going to have significantly more over results than under results. More overs. And I say that because, the Raiders are very were very aware of Geno Smith's differences when playing outdoors versus indoors. This is one of the hot topics that you may have seen in the last few months since the Raiders did acquire him, is the fact that his career numbers indoors when playing in domes is absolutely phenomenal. Here you go. In 36 outdoor games for the Seahawks, Geno Smith had an 89.7 passer rating, 43 touchdowns, 31 interceptions, pretty much middle of the road NFL numbers. But in his indoor games, playing inside of domes, passer rating, Geno Smith 110.8.
Wow.
That's 20 points higher. 110.8 passer rating in domes compared to 89.7 when playing outdoors. In domes, 30 touchdown passes, only 5 interceptions.
Whoa, wow.
So there you have it. This is the reason that they traded for Geno Smith, because he is primed for a big year. The Raiders play all their games indoors.
And Geno played for Pete Carroll up in Seattle.
Sure has.
Yes.
So, hey, that's why I played some of my Geno Smith props over the total as well as soon as he got to the Raiders. It could be a fantastic year for them. He's got great numbers in the domes.
You didn't mention the price on this guy. How many yards? I mean, 30-1 here on what we look an older price, but what's the yards for passing this year?
For Geno, we're around 3,500 for the season. So he's definitely worth some overaction. Again, 11 out of their 17 games will be indoors this season.
Whoa.
So for that reason, we're going to look to play our Raider overs, particularly when it's an indoor game. We'll anticipate an outstanding season for Gino. And who knows, that AFC West could be the only division in which all four teams are like maybe 500 or better. Who knows?
Well, I mean, you got four Super Bowl coaches.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the average? The average age of these four coaches is like almost 70.
Right.
That
But
shows
that's
us the old guys still have it, man.
that I love that. That's our Geno take and our Raider take. A very fascinating team to follow. If we can to move on to the wide receiver category real quick, Jim.
Sure.
That is a let me see here. The category is your leader is currently Jamar Chase, and that is not surprising. You know, he won the receiver triple crown last year. Most receptions, most yardage, most touchdowns in regards to wide receivers, and he's currently about 6-1 odds to lead the NFL in receiving yards, followed closely by Nico Collins at plus 750, and then Justin Jefferson of the Vikings at plus 800, and then we get to a bunch of guys at 10-1 or higher. But hey, you know, since we've already put a little bit of coin on Burrow to lead the league in passing yards, we got to go to his go-to guy as well, right? I mean, he's off this historic 2024 campaign in which he was just the fifth receiver to win that receiving triple crown. So, hey, he did it last year. I'm going to play a little bit on Jamar Chase to lead the league in passing yards again. We talked about, again, the Cincinnatis and the Dallases of the world that have fantastic quarterbacks, that have good offensive lines, that have fantastic players at the skill positions. And we're going to put a little bit at those current 6-1 odds on Jamar Chase. The next guy I like is this is a category in which you probably got to play maybe one, maybe two of the long shots. And the one I like the best at 20-1 or higher odds is actually the young kid in Atlanta, and that is Drake London. He's currently at 20-1 odds. And yeah, you can make a case that he could actually lead the NFL in passing yards this season, particularly when you see what his numbers were in the 3 games that Michael Penix started for Atlanta last year. In those 3 games at the end of the season, in which Atlanta scored 29 or more in all 3 games and had a fantastic offensive numbers, he was the number 3 wide receiver in the NFL in that 3-week period, Drake London. Obviously, his production suffered under Kirk Cousins, but again, you can't say enough about this Michael Penix, Drake London connection, what it did in those 3 games. Yeah, I know 3 games is a very small sample size, but you can find him somewhere around 20-1, 22-1 odds for most receiving yards in the NFL. And since I played a little bit on the favorite, I do think there's an underdog that's worthy of that particular category. Again, it is Drake London and the Atlanta Falcons, somewhere around 20-1 odds to 22-1 odds.
That's it. Now, since we talked a little bit, you talked a little bit about Dak Prescott, and I'm looking at CD Lamb on here. How do you feel about him as the combination of Dak and CD? I know they have extra other wide receivers, but we have to look at CD getting quite a bit of the action from Dak.
Right, and was he listed in the odds? Yes, he was. Somewhere around 10-1. Yeah, I see that.
What you have here, yeah.
Right. Now, yes, this was printed after Dallas acquired Pickens, the wide receiver from the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Correct.
But you do have to think that having 2 alphas, basically a 1A and a 1B wide receiver,
Correct,
is going to take away a little bit from both, right?
correct.
So for that reason, we still play the Dak Prescott over props, but it would probably be prudent to stay away from playing any CD Lamb over props until we see how it all meshes with him, with Pickens, and with Prescott. So at this point, I think it would be prudent to lay off any CD over props, at least until we get to the season, and we may find some value playing him in individual games.
Yeah, we do have to remind the listeners out there that you can play adjusted numbers throughout the season. It's not like the old days where you had to make your plays in September and then that was it until the season's over. It's not like that anymore. So it's kind of like your live betting. You take a player that's maybe had a bad couple of games, they adjust the number down too far, and you feel there's value with the over, or up the opposite. He had two good games. They adjust the price too much, and then you have to play the under. So there are ways to take advantage of aberrational situations that take place throughout the season, and that's great stuff.
There certainly are. Also, those are the big three categories, definitely: passing, rushing, receiving. We've got some other guys on our list in that particular article called the best of the rest. And again, if you want to take a look at those guys, absolutely, again, feel free to, send me a email, vic@playbooksports.com. I'll be glad to send you a PDF copy of the entire newsletter, which has some of those best of the rest guys. One guy I want to take a look at, and it falls into play with what I think is a pretty smart correlated parlay. Again, when we're talking about a correlated parlay, you're basically talking about a situation in which you're only dependent on one outcome, but you have multiple wagers tied into that particular outcome. And in this particular case, Jim, I want to talk about a guy, or specifically the Minnesota Vikings, and their running back room. And again, we talked about this way back in June. The guy I want to talk about is fantastic running back Aaron Jones of the Minnesota Vikings. And the fact that they acquired Jordan Mason from San Francisco in the offseason. And my recommendation in the article was to play Aaron Jones under his rushing prop, which at one time was somewhere around 850 yards, but it's come all the way down to the current number of about 725. I mean, everybody and his brother have slammed this under big time. If Aaron Jones' rushing stats are currently at 725.5 rushing stats, I'm not surprised. Again, I do think there's a little bit of meat on the bone. This is a guy who is an explosive back. Again, he had this fantastic career for Green Bay. This is what now, his third season with Minnesota. Last year, he did explode for 1,138 rushing yards. Here's my concern, Jim. He's getting a little bit older. He's getting a little bit long in the tooth. Right. He racked up a career high 306 touches at 30 years old. I mean, when you have that type of season, there's going to be some negative regression the following season, and that's why this line has gone down as significantly as it has. Again, 306 touches at 30 years old. He had a 64% snap share and a 56% carry share with the Vikings, who last year lacked that second option, that viable second option in their offensive backfield. Guess what? Minnesota traded for Jordan Mason from the 49ers. They handed him a 2-year deal, which indicates he'll have a much bigger role than a guy like Cam Akers did last year, backing up Aaron Jones in Minnesota. Mason wasn't given many opportunities as a receiver in San Francisco. And for that reason, Jim, I think Jordan Mason becomes the first down, second running back for Minnesota. And Aaron Jones is going to be that third down receiving back. So correlated parlay. This one makes sense. We play Aaron Jones under his 725 rushing yards. We play Mason over his 525 rushing yards. Yeah. It's correlated in that it only depends on one outcome, and that outcome is the Minnesota rushing situation. So if you believe one will occur, chances are very good that the other one will occur as well. So you can find, depending on your sports book, a correlated parlay of Aaron Jones under his rushing prop
Yep,
and
yep.
Jordan Mason over his rushing prop. And it makes sense. And I'm sure you'd get some decent underdog money playing that correlated parlay. And there's one more correlated parlay in rushing I want to talk about real quick. It's a situation out there in Seattle in the Pacific Northwest. I don't know whether you've been reading the Ken Walker versus Zach Charbonnet situation in Seattle,
I have
but
not.
but this is another situation in which a correlated parlay makes a lot of sense. Ken Walker is a tremendous prospect. He had a great rookie year. He's regressed a little bit, particularly last year. He's become a little bit injury prone. Seattle loves Zach Charbonnet. I bet Ken Walker under 875 rushing yards. If you want to put it together in a parlay, then consider Zach Charbonnet over his number of 475 rushing yards. And again, that's a correlated parlay that's dependent on just one outcome. But if one makes sense, then the other makes sense as well. So for that reason, I'm playing Kenneth Walker under 875 and Zach Charbonnet over 475 rushing yards. Similar to the Minnesota situation, I think they have the same thing up there in Seattle. They love Zach Charbonnet. Ken Walker, they're a little bit iffy on these days, particularly given the fact that now he's one of those injury-prone type running backs.
Interesting. I mean, these correlated parlays that you're coming up with, this brilliant thinking. If you look at, let's say, the teams that we talked about that are having this, should have these explosive offenses, but having the opposite on the defensive end. So the defense is going to give up 35 points, and in our mind, 28 to 35, and their offense is going to score 28 to 35. Can you correlate parlay on that? The one team over and the other team defense over or under, however you want to look at it. Because for the Dallas defense should give up a lot of points. So should
absolutely.
Cincinnati.
Right.
But their offenses should score a lot of points.
Right.
So there are team totals. And we're just kind of getting, brainstorming here, because I haven't really thought about this until you started talking about correlated parlays. But let's say the Cincinnati is over 28 today. So we bet Cincinnati over 28. And we look at the other team, and they're over, because maybe they're slight underdog, they're over 24. I mean, obviously, you bet them both over.
Right. Or you bet, in this case, the full game over. It's interesting, since you're talking about Cincinnati, it's one of the only lines in week one that has gone up, heck, a full point, in some cases, even a point and a half. I am starting to see some sharp money coming in on Cleveland, Cincinnati over the total in week one, which is kind of interesting given the fact that it's been a low-scoring series between these two.
Correct.
The fact that Cincinnati struggles on offense, particularly in the first month of the season.
Correct.
Well, we're kind of over that now because Joe Burrow actually got some play in the preseason.
Correct.
And I think we could kind of put those numbers aside now that we got the fact that Joe Burrow doesn't play in the preseason. He sucks in the first month of the season. That jinx is over. I think we can put that aside. The one thing that's interesting is the fact that, if you remember 2 years ago when Joe Flacco was quarterbacking the Browns, they had some astronomical, very, very good for them, offensive numbers. So I am not surprised now that all of a sudden this game one between Cleveland and Cincinnati, which at one point was about 44.5, is into the 46s. There might even be a 46.5. I'm not surprised. If you like it, you probably should play it as soon as possible because there's a good chance it might even go up a little bit higher, particularly when you look at the fact that, let me see here, AFC North games last season, this is usually one of the lower scoring divisions.
Yes, it is.
AFC North games actually averaged 50 points per game last year, 49.8. In the 12 games AFC North teams play each other, they were the second highest scoring division in all of football, 49.8.
That's
Was that an
interesting.
anomaly or not? I don't know. But all of a sudden, they're starting to score some points in this division.
Burrow is a great play action quarterback, and he's an under center guy a lot. And Stefanski likes to run the ball, so play action actually works. They're playing against, we expect, a very poor defense. And one thing about Flacco he can throw the ball. Even though he's 40 some years old, or 40, 41, 42, whatever he is, he has a great arm. He can throw it deep, and he's pretty accurate. If you're playing against a poor defense, now normally I'd look at this game and say, well, this is an under. It's always an under, et cetera, et cetera. But now Burrow played in the preseason, which he never does. Now he does, and he's pissed that they don't start out well. So, and we know that Cleveland is going to be one of the worst teams in football. I don't know if they're going to be as bad as the Saints, but they're not going to be very good. So, but Flacco can actually put up points with the style that he plays. He's accurate, he can throw deep, and you're playing against a poor defense. If that's the case, the over looks like the right side. However, when I first looked at this game a couple of months ago, it was an automatic under.
Right.
Things have changed, unfortunately. When you bet early, sometimes things change against you. And this is one of those cases. So right now, I would not bet it under, but it did look like that in the beginning.
Absolutely. Absolutely right. Things change. That was my first impression. Exactly, Jim. And now I'm starting to waver a little bit and thinking that let me get into the database to see what we can find out in that particular game. But let's move on, if we can, Jim, to one of my favorite categories, Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
And Defensive Rookie of the Year, heck, there's not a lot of heck out there. There's one big time favorite out there, the kid on the Giants, Carter, and then it's everybody else. But let's take a look at the Offensive Rookie of the Year. And again, I just finished, in addition to 11 fantasy football drafts, 11 rookie drafts as well. And first off, in regards to this particular category, Offensive Rookie of the Year, what we will note is, first off, we probably want to make our wagers for only guys who were drafted in the first round. Going back to the last 23 seasons, 18 out of the last 23, that's 18-5, 18 of the last 23 Offensive Rookie of the Years were first-round players in the NFL. 9 out of the last 10 years, they were first-round players. So that kind of tells me that we should spend most of our time studying the guys who were in the first round, drafted in the first round of the 2025 NFL draft. So let's stick to the first round. And not only that, but I always have difficulty with running backs in this particular category. Is there a true bell cow rookie running back? Well, according to the odds, it does look like there's one, and that's the kid that you mentioned a little while ago, Ashton Jeanty from Boise State, now a Raider, your clear-cut favorite to win Rookie of the Year, somewhere around plus 250. So he's right around 3-1 odds, slightly less to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Again, this is a category where you want to consider the long shots. Last year, it was Jaden Daniels. In fact, in this particular category, a running back has not won Offensive Rookie of the Year. We're going back 7 years now. It was way back in the 2017 season when the last running back won this award, and that was Saquon Barkley of the New York Giants at that time, was the last running back to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Since then, the last 7 have all been either quarterbacks or wide receivers to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. So for me, I don't like the value of Genty at plus 250. I think it's a category where we should consider the long shots. And I think we got it covered here with 2 guys that I really like a lot. One guy is somewhere around 15 to 1 odds. The other guy's around 25 to 1 odds. Both play in the NFC Conference. The first guy is Ted McMillan. Teteroa McMillan, Carolina Panthers, first-round draft pick. Was he the number 6 pick, the number 8 pick, whatever? He was a first-round pick by Carolina to be Bryce's go-to guy in Carolina. You know, they don't have an alpha wide receiver there. They don't have squat for a tight end. They don't throw to the tight end in Carolina. They're not particularly good at the running back position. They needed a go-to guy, an alpha, very, very badly, and they got their guy in Teteroa McMillan, and he's currently around 15 to 1 odds. Jim, I played his over on his receiving yards, which is currently around 800. I played his over on receiving yards. There's no one else to basically throw to in Carolina. He is the go-to guy. And if he has a good enough year, there's some fantastic value on him to win Offensive Rookie of the Year at current odds of about 15 to 1. The final guy I want to talk about is Matthew Golden of the Green Bay Packers. Now, the Packers this offseason, they've suffered some major injuries in the wide receiver position. They drafted Golden late in the first round. Yes, he's a first rounder. So we're again staying in that sweet spot of only first round rookies. And he looks like he's just about ready to take over as Green Bay's number 1 guy. Fantastic hands, got speed to burn, and he's somewhere in the area of 22 to 1 odds to 25 to 1 odds right now to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Again, it could very well be Ashton Genty winning this thing. He is the chalk. I don't like playing the chalk in this category. I think there's value on the underdog. We did play some Jason Daniels from Washington last year. That was a winner. I think equal amounts on Ted McMillan and Matthew Golden, and we got a really good shot at hitting a long shot in this category.
Is there any quarterback that could slip in there, a rookie quarterback?
Obviously the one guy we wanted to consider if he would have been the starter from the get-go was Jackson Dart of the Giants, who's somewhere around 30 to 1 odds, 35 to 1 odds. But he wasn't a first rounder, or was he? Was he drafted in the first round?
That's a good question. I don't know that.
Was he drafted in the first round? Thank you, Jeff, my guy, Jeff. So he was drafted in the first round. So he's definitely on our list. And if he would have been named the Giants starter from the get-go, then there would have been some outstanding value on him.
If he were to come in game 2, game 3, is it possible that he could still be considered?
Yes, it is possible, depending on will it be a month? Will it be 6 weeks?
Right.
What will the Giants' record be after that very, very killer, difficult first 6 game of the week schedule? Will they totally bail on Wilson and who's their second string quarterback? Jameis Winston. Will they totally bail and throw it in Jackson Dart's lap after a month of the season, after 6 weeks, maybe second half of the season? Who knows? But again, I don't think that gives him quite enough time to be the Offensive Rookie of the Year. He may have good numbers, but then again, the Giants will probably not be a 500 team either. So he's a guy I would have considered. Cam Ward is up there too, the Tennessee Titans quarterback. Right. Again, he's one of the chalkier guys. And again, I don't like the chalk. I don't like the favorites in this category. Cam Ward only wins Offensive Rookie of the Year if the Tennessee Titans are over 500 or somehow win a kind of weak AFC South division. So for that reason, I don't think he wins.
It is a weak division, and we don't know if anybody in there is going to be very good. We could be seeing regression from Houston. It's possible Stroud did have, because of offensive line problems and wide receiver injuries, he didn't have a great year last year. But the question is, can he bounce back? And we don't know that. I mean, these are young guys, and we don't know. We don't know anything about what's going to happen in Chicago either with the new head coach and Williams, the quarterback. Can he learn and grow? There's a lot of speculation, of course, and that's why we're talking about this, because there's potential good payoffs if you can guess right.
But Jim, I think we got it there. We covered some teams in the NFL that we like in terms of overs. We'll be picking and choosing our spots with the Cowboys, with the Bengals, with the Raiders. Your Raiders, that's for sure. We hit on some of the season-long NFL individual player props, offensive rookie of the year. I think so far that's not bad. And again, if people want to take a look at the article, we'd be glad to send them a PDF copy of that newsletter at vic@playbooksports.com. Now, in terms of Playbook, Jim, this just came out yesterday. This is our Playbook issue number 2. It is an all college football issue, 20 pages long. Mark, myself, the guys, we've been working hard on it for a couple of days. It just came out yesterday. You're going to want to get your hands on that. That's available at playbooksports.com. And Jim, I'm working on this. This is going to be done this weekend as well, too. Issue number 1 of the Totals Tip Sheet newsletter. You can even see, we're going to talk about that Dallas-Philadelphia game. Is it going to be a shootout or is it going to be a slog fest? We got the answer inside, and that'll be also available this weekend at playbooksports.com.
Sure look forward to reading that, too.
Thank you, Jim.
Make sure it's Vic at Playbook.
Playbook Sports.
Playbooksports.com.
.com. Yes, Jim.
That's the email address? No, that's not.
That's my email address, vic@playbooksports.com.
Okay.
Drop me an email mentioning you want to take a look at that article. We'll be glad to shoot it your way.
Let me see here. Let's get this. Just try to get, if there's anything I want to add in here.
Now, also, as you know, Jim, we added to our stable of puppies in the off season.
Well, we have Brutus. There he is.
I don't know if you can see it good, but look at that. He's got like a black head and a white body. That's what it looks like in that picture.
I know.
But, Jim, it's been a rough couple of years. Mom passed away. Dad passed away. Brother Bob passed away. Isabella, our dog, passed away late last year.
That's a lot of loss.
That's too much. We Sandy and I, we needed to bring some more life into our household. So we brought in Brutus. Here's another picture of Brutus.
There he is. Very cute.
But Brutus is his name. He's a new addition to the family. We've got 3 dogs now. We got Tuco still. We got Bean, the little doggy. We got Brutus as well. So we wanted to add a little addition to our King house. And Brutus will be joining us this season in the Totals Tip Sheet newsletter as well. We're already working on Brutus's under of the week. So he's stepping right in and going to be handicapping in his first year.
I was just going to ask that question. Is he going to be picking games?
Yes,
and how about Tuco? Is he going to be picking?
Oh, Tuco is back, and Tuco's got a couple of plays already for week 1. Tuco's team totals he's ready to go. He's the elder statesman now. I can't believe it. We've had Tuco for 6.5 years now, and he's been handicapping for 6 years, doing well. He's now the elder statesman when it comes to our King family canines.
Well, we have 3 dogs. We've got a 14-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 4-year-old. The 4-year-old is the biggest guy. He's 90 pounds.
Oh, right.
That's how I got scratches on my arm, because when I came home, he gave me a big arm and it scratched me a little bit. But that's how they show love and attention. But they're great. I mean, I'm sorry for the losses that you've had. We all suffer that, and it's a bad time and hard time to go through.
Part of the aging process.
One thing about a dog, they bring life into the house and spirit and love. And somebody said, if you want to find love, just go to the pet store,
Right. Right.
You know, it's a guaranteed that you will get that. And Victor, this was a great podcast, our first one together. I look forward to more. I'm next
Me
week
too.
for sure. And we might, you know, if we have some subjects we want to talk about during the week, I'm sure we can slip in something that we can talk about, especially if it's urgent news or something that you see or I see. So this is
I
good.
like
Great
it.
working with you last year, this year. And good luck this coming week, this coming season, and good luck with Brutus.
Right back at you, Jim. I see that you're on a college football total. Now we're recording the show here on a Friday, and I see Jim's on a college football total on Friday night that I like a lot.
That's true.
I'm on an over as well this evening. It's in a different game, so I think we can both win here in college football. We cashed last week in our first college football play. We did have the over in the Western Kentucky Sam Houston State
Right.
game last Saturday night. So we've started the season 1-0 in our college totals. We got action tonight. We'll have action on Sunday. You got a nice over tonight as well. Good look at that one. I've
Thank
already
you.
bet it myself. I do like that one a lot, Jim.
How about this? Thank you. And the same to you. Boise got annihilated yesterday. Oh my God. I mean, this was a favorite on the road and they got wiped out. Unbelievable.
Right. Welcome to South Florida, hot, muggy South Florida. Look out for the Bulls as a long shot to win that AAC conference,
Wow.
particularly with this very, very inspiring, confidence building, upset home win last night. You're right on that.
I mean, it's a big plus for the Bulls. And
Yeah.
what does it say about Boise? Are they a fraud or they just ran into a buzzsaw?
It's going to be a weird, wacky season in the Mountain West this year. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Victor, thank you. And good luck this weekend, the season. We'll
You
talk to
too,
you
Jim.
next week. Thank
You
you,
too.
buddy.
Take care, my friend.
Take care. Oops. I do have to end recording.